The precious liquid seems limited in supply. Even with the scarcity, consumers decry the increase in prices. It is feared that fuel subsidies will continue to rise above present level. As taxi drivers, car owners and bike riders battle for fuel, the most affected cities remain Yaoundé and Douala in the center and littoral regions, respectively. Cameroonians, however, have a reason to think positive, as Minister of Water and Energy has announced the replenishment of stocks in major cities. According to a communique signed today, stocks have been replenished in major cities, implying that shortage is over. In this sense, a ship unloaded liters of super on Monday and yesterday, Wednesday. Yaoundé's daily requirement is about 100,000 liters of fuel in normal situation, but with the disruptions observed in recent days, consumers have increased their consumption, which is not likely to facilitate logistics. The objective of the state is to saturate the market in order to bring the situation to normal. Away from that, let's now talk about this sad news which happened yesterday in the southwest region of the country. At least 4 civilians have died in a fatal road accident around Likomba, Tiko subdivision in the southwest region. Reports say 2 trucks collided, smashing a taxi and a bike. It is still not clear what exactly led to the accident, but many suspect overspeeding. Stay with DBS Television. We'll bring you details on our subsequent newscast. Away from the southwest region, General Buba Dobekrio and Husseini Jibo have spent their first days in office as commanders of the 5th Military Region and Gendarmerie Commander respectively. They have the responsibilities of restoring and maintaining order in the crisis-hit northwest region of the country. Kokoberemi Karo with more.
The minister delegate at the presidency in charge of defense, Joseph Beti Asomo, has installed 2 military generals in the northwest region. The minister commissioned Brigadier General Buba Dobekrio as commander of the 5th Military Region and Brigadier General Husseini Jibo as Gendarmerie Commander of the 5th Military Region on July 19, 2022 at the Bamenda Grandstand.
We are here to follow up what our collaborators have done already, and we have the same dream with the mayor, and we ask God to help us to achieve our goal.
Finding the discussion about the challenge. The message I would like to send to the guys in the field, like the fighter. I'm the fighter, I will attack in the bush. I give them the change to come out and in the peace.
The recently installed coming to replace General Cavalier and General Ekungwes Divine.
We are here in a good spirit. We are here not to punish or to send away everybody. We are here to work with everybody. We call of them to follow us and to come with us. We build the new Cameroon.
The occasion was witnessed by some officials like the West and Northwest governors, amongst others.
Few years ago, the head of state, President Paul Biya, announced that Cameroonian youths will have to go back to the farms and take agriculture serious. It is worth noting that Africa and Cameroon is in particular risk facing a food crisis should agriculture be neglected. In this light, youths of Marwa 1 in the far north region have resorted to agriculture, livestock and fisheries as a source of income and means of livelihood. In the following report, our reporter Nde Vanessa Shiong takes us to Makabe, a small locality, to discover how youths have taken special interest in agriculture despite the hindrance. Nde Vanessa Shiong reports.
Agriculture, livestock and fishery are the main source of income for the world's underdeveloped and developing population. This sector plays a key role in reducing poverty, increasing income, and improving food security. In line with the policy of Cameroon, which is engaged in an ambitious program for an emerging economy by 2035, the Senior Divisional Officer of the Tiamare Division in the Far North region, Jacques-Marc Ekwambarga, carried out an inspection visit to La Société Coopérative Simplifiée, a large and small ruminant breeders of Makabe in the Marwa 1 municipality. A visit to encourage the socio-economic insertion of youth into agriculture.
What encouraged me into agriculture this day is because it is the only income-generating activity in Cameroon. I choose agriculture to better invest myself in practice and in theory. I encourage our young girls to get involved in agriculture because the soil never fails.
With a surface area of 7 hectares, one could find moringa trees, papaya, lemon, oranges, mandarin being cultivated, and water ponds containing different species of fish. Given the demand of such products are high, their supply is less due to the small-scale production, thus making the greatest challenge as several attempts for sponsorship went futile.
There are many things needed. We need boreholes for pisciculture because we already have 3 to 4 tents available. We are still to add at least 10 of them again, and we also need warehouses and sheds to smoke the fish.
Despite the advancement in modern technology, the farmers from Makabe still use rudimentary farming techniques with archaic tools. A call for assistance on the part of government and other benevolent donors to overcome such hindrance. The promoter, Alhaji Umaru Baba, having noticed agriculture was given less, perhaps no importance in the Far North region, decided to venture into it and occupy many youths who are jobless. The outcome is what these visitors are carrying back home. The Senior Divisional Officer has applauded the initiative and guaranteed the promoter of a quick comeback with government support.
Nde Vanessa Shiong ending that report. We now revisit the planned or scheduled visit of French President Emmanuel Macron into Cameroon, which of course will take place on the 25th and the 26th of this month. Cameroonians are eager to know the content of this meeting between both heads of states. The following editorial has an in-depth of the relationship between France and Cameroon since or after independence. Mange Venatius compiled the editorial that comes up.
It is becoming clearer and louder that French President Emmanuel Macron will be coming to Africa for an official visit beginning with Cameroon from the 25th to the 26th of July 2022. Cameroonians in their majority have been asking the purpose of such a visit to Cameroon in particular. Cameroon, a country that President Macron during his first mandate practically avoided. It is a country where relations with France has not been healthy of late. In 2 different outings, President Macron met Cameroonian activist Calibri Calibro and Wilfried Ekanga. In the first case, President Macron gave the impression that he had to bring pressure on President Paul Biya to release Kamto and MRC militants from prison. In the second case, he pointed out that democracy and political exercises ought to be open in Cameroon, making allusion to the question of succession at the helm of the state. These statements pushed the government of Cameroon to come out with a statement condemning the position of Macron and advising him not to be misled by individuals who have lost the sense of patriotism. Maybe Macron is coming to Cameroon to present his mea culpa to the Cameroonian people and authorities. At the time, anti-French sentiments are increasingly sweeping across the African continent, Cameroon included. Maybe French president is coming to get first-hand information of the situation from Cameroon. Maybe he is coming to see if Cameroon is still with them, given that Yaoundé of late entered into a military cooperation with Kremlin. Such a move is no good news for France. Again, the ease at which China is positioning herself in Cameroon is another threat to France's more than 100 years cooperation and supremacy in Cameroon. In the recent United Nations Extraordinary Session to condemn Russia in the ongoing crisis between Russia and Ukraine, Cameroon decided to boycott the vote as a sign of saying they don't want to mingle in that issue with what is happening in Central African Republic, that is turning towards Russia, with what is happening in Central African Republic, that is turning towards Russia, with the turn of events in Mali, where the mention of France is equivalent to anathema. French African diplomacy is no longer the same. Maybe the president is out to re-establish bilateral ties with Africa, but Africa may be looking elsewhere. Remember, Togo and Gabon added more stress on France by joining the Commonwealth in their last meeting in Rwanda. It would be as if Africa is definitely turning her back on France. It is no doubt that any leader can carry out a diplomatic mission that is not for their own benefit. So it will be far from pretending that Macron is coming to Cameroon to discuss ways of ending the crisis plaguing the country in the far north, the northwest, and the southwest regions. And about the crisis in the northwest and southwest regions, recent development says France is yet to live up to her promise of 40 billion francs CFA for the reconstruction of the two regions. A confusing reaction came from French ambassador recently, stating that the amount had been given for close to 2 years now. Maybe in the course of the tete-a-tete between the two leaders, President Macron will indicate who collected the sum on behalf of Cameroon. All these remain a matter of conjecture. Cameroonians have their ears to the ground, anxiously waiting.
Thanks, Mange Vinicius. Ladies and gentlemen, you just listened to an editorial compiled by Mange Vinicius carrying or bearing possible reasons why Emmanuel Macron, French president, would be in Cameroon on the 25th and 26th of July 2022, that is this month, not forgetting to mention the relationship between both countries. It is time for Discovery. On today's edition of Discovery on DBS television, the 7 p.m. English newscast will take you to the northwest region, focus on two tribes, that is Kmer and Nso. They share some similarities in dressing, meal, and are cordial amongst or with each other. The following video projects the culture through dance. Enjoy. Two prominent tribes in the northwest region, richly imbibed in culture, Njang and Kamer. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed that. It is time for us to take you out of the country. Spokesperson for the United Nations peacekeeping mission in Mali has been given 72 hours to leave the country after information reached the Malian government about the arrival of about 49 Ivorian soldiers. BrigadeAntiSardinard completes this in the following report.
Mali's military government has given Olivier Salgado, the spokesman for the United Nations mission to Mali, 72 hours to leave the country. The order comes after he tweeted that the Malian government was informed of the arrival of 49 Ivorian soldiers as support for a UN contingent. The expulsion comes amid mounting friction between Mali's ruling military and international partners supporting the country's fight against jihadism. Last week, Mali announced it was suspending all new rotations of the United Nations Multidimensional Integrated Stabilization Peacekeeping Mission, MINUSCA, including those already scheduled for national security reasons. Tensions between the United Nations and Mali's military government have been rising in recent months, with the United Nations being denied access to the town of Mora in April. MINUSMA, launched in 2013, is one of the United Nations' biggest peacekeeping operations, with 17,609 troops, police, civilians and volunteers deployed as of April. According to the mission's website, it is also one of the most dangerous UN missions, with 275 fatalities from attacks and accidents.
Still out of the country, a broad front has been announced by former ruling coalition in Sudan against intercommunal clashes that have left thousands dead and dozens others injured. BrigadeAntiSardinard once more.
The former ruling coalition in Sudan, the Freedom and Change Declaration Forces, have announced they will form a broad front against the tribal clashes that have led to the death and injury of dozens of people in the country. Demonstrators will be organized on the 24th of July in Khartoum and many cities under the name One Homeland Sudan to protest the violence between tribes as announced by the leader of the group. The announcement comes shortly after a massive protest in Khartoum when police fired tear gas at hundreds of demonstrators. Last week, clashes in Blue Nile resulted in 79 deaths and 199 injuries. These clashes often erupt over access to water and land, vital for farmers and herders, in a country where many weapons are in circulation after decades of civil war.
In sports, CAF has streamed the final list of nominees for the CAF Awards 2022. The award will take place at 9 p.m. today in Rabat, Morocco. Mohamed Salah will be up against the Senegal duo of Sadio Mane and goalkeeper Edouard Mendy for the Men's Player of the Year award. Zambia's Crise will compete with a four-time winner Asisat Oshola of Nigeria and Ajaran Chut Njang of Cameroon in the women's category. National Team of the Year category, Cameroon will stand against Egypt and Senegal. With that update, we end today's edition of the 7 p.m. English newscast on DBS Television. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us. See you tomorrow for the last edition of this week. 7 p.m. is the time. We encourage you to follow us on social media, DBS TV. Also, stay tuned for other interesting programs coming up next. My name is Genda Belgian Blanche King. We leave you in company of interesting programs. Good night, happy viewing, and stay safe.